PSE.
And who's doing roll call?
I'm going to be
Okay.
Cassidy.
Okay, all right. It is 5:30. I will call the meeting to order. Jonas, can you do roll call, please?
Gladly. Melissa Kokeisel.
Here.
Joel Valentine.
Here.
Justin Cully.
Here.
Carly Sherrill.
Here.
Sarah Jocelyn.
Here.
William Beck.
Here.
Maddie Knudsen.
Here.
Ashley Potashek. Not here. Shelby Poole. Not here. And that's everybody. The minutes will be, Cassidy will be doing the minutes from the video. So we need to be sure to be loud and clear so she can get the minutes correct.
All right, do you want to read mission and vision?
Sure. The mission of WLA is to utilize leadership-based programs, strategies grounded in solid research, and the demonstrated success of core knowledge curriculum as a basis for a rigorous overall educational program. The vision of WLA is to be a school where students become exceptional leaders and are prepared to navigate and shape their future.
Thank you. So approval of the agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests at this time, in which the item will be removed as a consent agenda item and addressed. Noting that, I will motion to approve the August board meeting agenda minute as is.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Any conflict of interest to declare from anybody? None noted. Public comment? Nobody here? All right, Jonas, you want to go ahead with your superintendent report, please?
Gladly. Okay, so currently enrollment is progressing pretty well. We have bigger waiting lists than we've ever had at K-5. We've had a number of late changes of mind in 6th and 8th grade, and those are the two grades that are really not full. We are sending an email blast out tonight still to through the Woodbury newspaper list and stuff that we work with, targeted specifically for middle school. See if we can't fill those last few spots at that grade. With our plan to change kind of the enrollment philosophy to try and over-enroll our target a little bit. You know, it's a little bit of a guessing game to not get too much, but right now, kindergarten is over-enrolled at 1 student per class. First and second are 2.33 and 2.5. Those are the only ones that we have any. We have a few sections that are 3 right now. We would imagine that we just need a couple 3 more students that enroll to at least be 2 over at maximum. So I think we'll get there. I don't know if we will get there by Wednesday when teachers return and get their lists, which cause a little stress that there's, 3 over it, if there's a class or 2 that are 3 over at first or second, but we will see. And our budget's based on 1,224. Right now, we're 1,271 enrolled. We really want to start the year pretty close to that 1,270 number. If we're going to be able to cut off enrollment across the board October 1st, if you lose about 100 students over the course of the year and you don't replace anybody after October 1st, you kind of need to be enough over to have it average out. And so it's tracking pretty well, but 6th and 8th grade's a little below expectations there. Finance committee met August 12th, governance met, you can read that, we don't need to talk about that. We're getting close. We are working for the school nurse position. We have a candidate who's highly qualified, but does not meet the criteria for a school nurse in Minnesota. And the exception to getting that license is you can do an agreement with the Commissioner of Education. So we have reached out to an agreement, and if we're able to do that, we're going to offer this candidate who's strong and very excited about the position. We have 1 special ed teacher position left that we do have some candidates. So we're in good shape staffing wise. We met with Carly and our PTO president and Big Frog on the street about seeing if there's anything we can do to try and order in bulk uniforms and sell them ourselves to reduce the cost. And so we kind of came up with a partnership there. We're going to pay the initial cost of the school budget, and PTO is going to reimburse after they get to sell them at the Meet the Teacher night, because they don't have an account to print the whole amount up front. But it will really be a PTO deal. The MCA assessment data, we got raw data back yesterday, but it's embargoed, and it's not even in summary format yet, so it still is reliant on me, or us putting it in and our math and all that. So we really probably, it's actually embargoed until September 30th. So we won't really be able to discuss that at a board meeting or anything until the October meeting. And the reason it's later than usual is because of the reading. We actually did have the math data, and we could talk about the math data, I think, in September, and then do the reading in October potentially. So that's to come. I would also say in academics, a couple things to note. We have decided in our administrative team work and through feedback, and partially driven by feedback we've gotten from teachers over the last 2 years as well, and what we're seeing, but we are going to be focused on, as an academic piece for us, writing across the curriculum. And we're going to be doing a book study with a book called Writing Revolution 2.0, but it's very aligned in thinking with core knowledge curriculum and core knowledge. In fact, one of the authors wrote another book called The Knowledge Gap, which is like exactly what core knowledge is about. It's also well aligned with what the changes that we've made and learned around teaching reading. And so there's a lot of overlap where it's much more specific, intentional instruction, even when you get to older grades. And it's getting where we have our, at the high school and upper school level, where our science and social studies and math teachers are teaching writing within their curriculum. And so that's the big, and also tied to that, and this goes beyond anything I have here, but is we having discussions, and we're going to be, before we kind of come up with what our plan is exactly, we want to get input from teachers over the next couple of weeks, but we are gonna have a focus on trying to reduce the amount of technology we're using. And with the writing piece, like at the high school or upper school level, the discussion is around, they need to get through the rough draft stage before they ever, an approved rough draft before they're ever doing anything online. And part of that is research is supporting that they learn information, become stronger doing it that way. There's a lot more research around that. Part of it is to try and address students trying to do AI for things, you know, and making it much more clear when they are. And so it's kind of a, as much as we've gotten, we use more and more technology in education, and there are some things where the technology is still critical, and particularly in our interventions and where students have gaps, or even in some cases where students are way advanced, having students be able to have a piece of their education that's really tailored to their individual needs is still an important piece, but we're trying to get a little bit more balance back in it, and with everything we know about screen time and kids and stuff like that. So those are not ready to roll out exactly what the changes are going to be, because we really need teacher input first. But that's direction the administrative team is kind of pushing, or going to be pushing over the next couple of weeks on some things. So facility expansion, inspection for the space we're in right now is scheduled for Monday. There are things that will happen after the expansion. The flooring in the cafeteria will not be done. They don't need that for the inspection though. A lot of cosmetic things will still happen after. Furniture won't be delivered until after the inspection to make the inspection easier. But if everything goes well, we'll start having furniture delivered Tuesday, Wednesday next week. We actually did have all the weight room equipment delivered today. It's all in boxes down there. That needs to be put together, and that's gonna be a project. And so that's good. We did have the setback with the steel. They were able to get experts out here. I think they actually had to fly somebody in to do it, to really examine the steel and determine if it was structurally sound and got the go-ahead to go ahead with the steel we already had. So it took a couple weeks to do that, but not an additional couple weeks to wait for new steel to arrive. So, so this week they really started to do inside the precast there, and starting to have a roof go on, and so we'll see how much time they can make up. We're optimistic that we'll be able to have one floor done and through inspection still at winter break, which is all we need to be able to move 7th grade over. Probably not realistic that the whole thing's gonna be done by winter break. But we really, for this year, we really just need one floor to be able to move them over and occupy, so that would be fine. Additionally, I've shown you this document before, but I did some work this since our last meeting on the superintendent goals document. I just want to share with you what we're doing here to keep front and center. So this document before was just what the 3 goals were, so we could kind of keep them front and center when I do my reports. What I did was put it into a table with a description of the goal. Here's evidence of progress towards that goal. And then here's some things that are in progress, potentially, you know, so under the community stakeholder piece, we got the lower school, upper school family survey. We've got since ODRs per student is a piece, that data is here in this deal. So we'll just kind of continue to update this, and it's something board members you can keep an eye on to know that what progress is being made towards the goals that we've set for me to try and make sure happen this year. And so I feel good about this. I think this was missing the last couple of years in terms of having in front what really my focuses are and what your focuses were, and working together. So I feel good about this. Questions on the superintendent report?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
For the enrollment, it says specifically for kindergarten, there's over enrolled by 8. is our target for kindergarten 20 or 21?
20.
20.
So right now, or when I did this on Monday,
Mhm.
so I changed this then, but
Mhm.
we had 21 per classroom.
Okay.
And the goal is to have 21 per class in kindergarten until September 30th.
Okay.
So that when you lose students over the year and get down to 19 or 18,
Yeah.
we don't have to add more students to get to the
Sure.
20. And so if you fall down to 20 before September 30th, and there's a waiting list, we would add a 21st.
Sure. And then if there's 21, will you add 22 still? through
No.
September? When does the 22? Just curious.
We shouldn't ever add 22nd for kindergarten. We are, because we lose so many kindergartners
Mhm.
at the last minute, we've been losing, so we are, like, we offered a couple more kindergartners
Mhm.
because we feel like we want to make sure we're not getting down, where now we are not at the 20, and those ones on the waiting list, it's too late and they don't want to come. So we are estimating a little bit.
Sure.
But once school starts, we wouldn't add beyond 21.
Okay.
And once we hit September 30th, if the plan holds, we wouldn't add anybody to go above 20. And when I say if the plan holds, that plan is largely based on us overall as a school hitting the attendance budget numbers. So if there is a piece where all of a sudden 6th and 8th grade get so far below it, we're gonna have to make hard budget decisions, then that we could, look at it, but
Sure.
that's the plan. And the plan is that, the plan and the goal is that things work out where you average exactly 20 for the year, right? And one kindergarten class may end up with 21 for the whole year, and another one may end the year at 17 to get there, but, one class has students leave and another has none.
Sure.
But that's kind of the goal, is we're trying to limit how many new students we're enrolling after September.
Sure.
Because it's so disruptive, and if we can get the stability and be full, then that would be ideal.
Yeah, well, having that classroom community
Yeah.
set, we've talked about that.
Yeah. And, the reason that 1st and 2nd grade are so far over is in order to determine how many students we enroll, and we look at what the last 3 years were, the percentage of students that came back. And then we also looked at the percentage of students that accept enrollment, what percentage changed their mind,
Mhm.
and tried to enroll in a way that would get us, most likely to the target. And at 1st and 2nd grade, at those 2 grades, our retention's right now significantly, if more kids don't leave, it's significantly better than it was the previous 3 years. And right now, less students have changed their mind after accepting enrollment than have. And that's why we're kind of there, where other grades, that's not the case, right? And then at 6th, in 8th grade, we've had more students not come back. So you're trying to work with, we look at what the trends have been, what it's been, and then is there any reason we think it's gonna be different this year, and make our best estimates to get where we need to be. And I still think we'll end up pretty close, but, last year it was 3rd grade that ended up, we missed, luckily that one grade was more over than any other grade all year.
Sure.
Right, the other grades pretty well kind of came out, so. But it's hard, because if you say, well, we're not gonna go over, and then you have the net attrition you have every year that happens right before school starts, right at the beginning, and all the other students that you had in the waiting list are enrolled somewhere else, they don't wanna come anymore, and you end up under-enrolled. And
Got it.
so it's hard to say, well, we're just gonna wait until there's the opening and then do it, because you may not be able to later.
Right.
So it's
Thank
tricky,
you.
it's a tricky balance. Thanks for the
You're
question.
making your best guess.
Yes, we're trying our best.
Thank you. I know there will be a lot of happy parents about reducing tech, so appreciate that. Maddie, financial?
Yes. So we met on August 12th. We had a lot of data to go over because we talked about the end of fiscal year 2026. And to kind of sum that up, we ended in a position of financial strength, which was great to hear. So part of that was ending with a surplus of $206,655. We ended with a cumulative fund balance of $3.03 million, or 21% of overall expenditures. Our debt service coverage ratio is 1.67. The requirement is 1.20, so we're doing great there. Yeah, so we talked a lot about ending fiscal year 2026 and then fiscal year 27 and some of the budget changes based on the information that has come in. So some of it was that since they had initially made the budget, Jonas and Dustin, they decided to do one less section of 7th and 8th grade, so that kind of changed our enrollment numbers just a touch, but not concerning in any way. There are also changes made in contracted services, staffing, building improvements, and instructional supplies just due to what was spent in the previous year, so kind of adjusted the predictions. And then also with contracted services with our like cleaning company changeover as well. Our enrollment numbers are strong, which Jonas talked about. And there might be more adjustments, especially in the benefits section, because our rates are fixed for the first half of the year, but then they'll change in January. So everything's looking really good. That's kind of what we got. I will make a motion to approve the June financial, July financial, and supplemental report, and August finance committee report.
Second.
There has been a motion and a second. Any further conversations? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. On to Joe for governance reports, please.
Yes, so we met on August 13th. We discussed, kind of came back because they were brand new policies, but policy 414 and 520, we sent back for final approval to the board. And then we had a first reading for policy 512 and 903. And then we also discussed policy 531. It was on the calendar. It was the Pledge of Allegiance one, which we realized we had discussed a few months back. So we didn't make any changes to that other than to get the dates updated with Cassidy. So that next time we'll see when it was last reviewed.
So I think,
And then-
so I think I realized since we met on that,
Yeah.
the reason that we put it there is because it's an annual review thing.
Oh,
And so we were trying to put our annual review things in August every year. So even though we just did this in February or March.
Right. And I think it came up as a question is why we looked at it
Right,
not
but-
long ago.
But so
Yeah.
we can just, you know, say we reviewed it in
Right.
August for the annual review.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at it again next August, you know?
Yep.
So that's why it was there.
No, that makes sense. And I know as we're getting started, if you shared some of the revisions to make to, I know 512, needed to correct over to WLA, which I did already jump in and do that. And then also, one question that came up was about the grades, because policy 512 is about the journalism, I believe.
Yep, co-sponsored.
And it talks about referring to grades 6 through 12. So is
Mhm.
that the right grade numbers, was the question that came up. So I don't know if we want to
Page
talk about that
3,
here.
section G.
Yeah,
Well, it's unlikely anything we did would include sixth graders, but it can't hurt to expand the policy to
Right,
those
no.
grades.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely not lower, I would
Right,
assume,
no.
but does it,
Right.
yeah. So unless anybody has a different, keep it at 6 then, it sounds like, at least to come back to governance for. Sounds good. And then, 903 was goofy looking with all the gray text. I think I've got that fixed. Was there anything else with that? You were saying something like, Maddie was with like, was it the
Yeah,
post-secondary
it
or
was-
something with that? I want to make sure. we-
PSEO or something?
Yeah, PSEO for, it was just, it's on page 2, number 3 is post-secondary enrollment option students, and it says number 3, but then responsibility below that is also number 3.
Oh, good catch, yeah. Okay, thank you.
wait, oh, I see.
Mhm.
Yep. She-
So it's just a numbering issue.
No.
Yeah,
Just a typo.
we got eagle eyes, so that's
You
good.
could-
Told you I put on my
You
card.
could just propose, you could just propose the,
Well, this was one of the first reading ones.
Oh, the first
So
reading.
we're gonna have to, yeah, so it's okay, so.
So,
Okay.
page 3, G1, I would suggest removing the first 4 words, move the vehicle or, because towing is covered under number 2, and staff would never move somebody's vehicle themselves.
Well,
So-
but under that policy.
Page, that one, that,
visitors to
903.
buildings, 903?
903, page 3, G1. It says move the vehicle or have them do it, basically. So number 1 would stay, have the driver do it. And 2, if unattended, provide for the removal, so towing at the expense of the owner or operator.
Mhm.
But move the vehicle, it wouldn't be doing that.
You mean for number 1, like we
Yeah.
wouldn't move somebody else's
Right.
vehicle on their behalf?
So just
is what you're
start that
saying?
sentence
Sure.
with require.
Require the driver.
Mhm. Well, what if it was an emergency situation? You know,
Okay.
I mean,
Do we specify that? Or do we, or? Because it's, we should stop flickering.
yeah, I think probably take the vehicle out, that's fine.
It says other person in charge of the vehicle, so like in an emergency, you can say someone else is
Just
in charge of
delegate
it. I
someone
think,
else
yeah, I
to
think
be in
it's.
charge.
I
Sure.
could delegate William to go move my car.
Yep.
Okay. Unless anything else with that, then those are all the policies we discussed. And if there isn't anything else, I think it's. I don't know if it's on here like she normally does. Do I just make a motion to
She has-
approve
we have
the
separate-
August governance committee
Mhm.
minutes?
We'll need 3 separate motions.
Do I need to do each one 3 separate times?
Yeah.
Okay.
there is a committee.
So I'll do the first one, to motion to approve the August governance committee minutes.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries.
Then I'll make a motion to enter policy 512 and 903 into the first reading with those typo and revisions we talked about.
Your presentation.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries.
And then make a motion to enter policy 414 and 520 for final board approval.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. All right, discussion items. Jonas or Patrick, who's going over the strategic plan?
That is Patrick.
All right,
Hopefully this won't
Patrick.
keep,
You want to start out? It's all good. All right. If you get a chance sometime before the kids come, walk through and see the 2 new murals that we have in the school. We had a hidden talent from one of our first grade teachers, Miss Landvik, who is an amazing artist, and she's done 2 murals. And I thought at the very beginning as you walk in, she's got a big, beautiful mural that says, "Good things happen here." So you're going to see that on shirts this year. That's kind of our theme for this year, and I thought that summed up WLA pretty darn well. If this thing is giving me problems, it's my presentation is in your board packet.
yeah, I suggest if we open it in the packet, if you have a device, we share with each other, otherwise I'm sharing with Melissa here.
All right.
Teamwork.
Before we get started too, we've done a comprehensive needs assessment, as Jonas has talked about, and that's kind of district-wide. Looked at all angles of the school, so it was higher tier. But in that process of figuring out what our focus is going to be moving forward, what our trends and what our gaps are from this abundance of data, we said there are some things that we should address immediately, kind of be our school-wide goals. And I just kind of wanted to share those with you. And they're based on the beliefs that I shared last spring with you, that every student deserves a safe and welcoming community. We believe every student can learn at high levels. We believe every student deserves opportunities to serve their community and practice their leadership. And every student deserves a caring and high-quality teacher. So those were the belief system that we came up with. Okay, so there are four goals that we're going to intentionally focus on this year. First one I want to start with is improve student attendance. Where this data point came out is in the statewide assessment, we are in the very top tier of every walk of things they checked, but one. And that's something called attendance. And that's not, we're not talking about chronic attendance. Those people who are truant or we're making those multiple phone calls. It's 90, it's children should attend 90% of the time. When a child doesn't attend 90% of that time, that doesn't count towards your score. We had 72% of our students attend at least 90% of the time. So think about that. Every 2 weeks, they missed one day. Okay, it's those people that we're really, really targeting and having to do a better job with. Because our percentage was 72%, state average was 75%, quality schools are at 77, 78%. So we're going to target a goal this year of 80%. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how some strategies that we're using. The next thing that we noticed in the Belt of survey is a need. We have the world's best curriculum here, core knowledge. I think many of our families from our data shows that they come here for this rigorous curriculum, this classic-based curriculum. Where we're seeing some discrepancies is in the instruction. And that's not saying we have the, again, I would argue that we have some of the highest quality teachers around, but every teacher can have a bigger toolbox. So the second school-wide goal is to build an instructional playbook, how instruction is looking and happening in our and trying to provide teachers with a bit more resources there. 3, Jonas talked about, heard it from mostly teachers in the teacher survey about having more resources around writing, dedicating some more time towards writing. It fits core knowledge perfectly as critical thinkers. Nothing brings out critical thinking like writing. This is coming from an English teacher, so I propose this. 4, and then our fourth is, one of the things that, we made a conscious decision last year to take away leadership as a specialty, okay? It wasn't giving us the impact that we wanted. And we also felt like leadership can't be a one-off at the school. It's who we are. So this year we said we're going to make a conscious effort to develop student leaders. And I'll kind of show you what this might look like at the lower school level. What we want to try to do is first of all, first thing we did is Colleen Lautenbach, former board member, former rock star teacher, has been promoted to the dean, a dean position for 3rd through 7th. She's also charged with integrating leadership throughout. And that's a charge she hasn't taken lightly. She's all over this. How this is looking and developing. We know for the first time, and I'm going to speak about the lower school, first time in many years that lower school is going to have a solidified age bracket. It's K through 6. All right, and that just means a lot for us because now we can scope and sequence even better the SEL components, right? You have an elementary school or a lower school that's K through 6. Our number one goal is to tweak or evolve 6th grade into being the pinnacle of leadership. That when you're in 6th grade, you're going to have a mentor that's in kindergarten. You're going to help out in the lunchroom. You're going to help out at buses. You're going to have opportunities to serve this school. The younger kids will look up to them, is our goal, and everybody can't wait to get to 6th grade, where they can wear that certain jacket, or they can take part in these leadership opportunities. So those are our 4, okay? So if you're following just a little bit along, we hope our school-wide goals will enliven our mission.
Can I just reinforce something you said, because I think it's important for context here?
Yep.
The certified needs assessment that
Comprehensive needs
The
assessment.
comprehensive.
Yep.
Certified?
Certified. You're certified. That's
Comprehensive needs
comprehensive.
assessment. We haven't done the full scope of it yet, right? There's pieces, we haven't done things that are kind of outside, we haven't done finances and development. And this 4 goals are not necessarily what our strategic plan is next year, but they are derived and largely from the initial part of the needs assessment we did. And so there'll probably be overlap when we get to the having a strategic plan to approve later. But we're not gonna wait a year to start working on things we've identified because we don't have our strategic plan set yet. So that's just in terms of framing it in terms of context. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to make sure
That's
they,
good.
you said that, but I want to make sure they got
I got
that because it's a little complicated.
Principal explaining. Okay, improve student attendance. Our goal is to go way over the top, 80%. All right, and how we're going to do this is we want to focus on belonging. Shiloh shared a great story about how this kid came in and he was visibly sick. And they said, "Why'd you come to school today? You're clearly sick." He goes, "I had to hold the door. It's my day to hold the door open. Who was going to hold the door open?" So that's the kind of belonging that we're kind of looking for. So we're going to try to really consciously integrate this idea of finding new ways for people or for kids to feel even more so that they're part of this community. That's from greeting them when they come off the bus, greeting them in the morning and drive line, putting more people out there, using our students to help people welcome others and just be there for others, okay? And then the next part is focusing on communication. This is like wishing wells in morning meetings where if a student is gone, there's a little song. I won't sing it to you, but it's about wishing that person well that is gone that day and welcoming back when they come in. So it's a lot of it is focusing on communication, checking in from the teacher's standpoint. So that's kind of our goal with student attendance. Our goal of building an instructional playbook, this year it's just really building it. Figuring out what the teachers need, collaborating with teachers, curating some best practices, piloting a few new strategies like we're doing in 4th grade. Ms. Jocelyn being involved, Ms. Knudsen being highly involved. And integrating more coaching models, getting more instructional leads into those classrooms. Third, strengthening writing. Jonas talked about this, so I won't go into much detail. And then develop student leaders. What's really important about this developing student leaders as well is all of it is going to be rooted in our core 5 virtues. So everything that we do, from having virtue awards each month for students, to being able to identify actions related to each of these core values. Okay. I have some success indicators, which you don't. Okay. Again, I'll just reemphasize that our goals are closely aligned to all this data that we're learning on. We have shared the goals already with our instruction mentor teachers, our experienced teachers, and they helped us out with those. And then, again, try to run parallel with the strategic plan. And ultimately, the mission is WLA wants to develop students who lead with character, right? Teachers who inspire through exceptional instruction in a school community where every child feels they belong, that they're valued here, right? And I see it daily, so we just want to strengthen all those connections. Any thoughts, questions, or?
Is Reading Buddies part of that?
Yep.
Bringing that back?
Bringing it back.
Good.
Bringing it back. Even Bus Buddies has been thrown out there.
Yeah, Colleen was telling me about that earlier. She has a lot of really good
Clean it,
ideas.
yeah,
She
you
popped
don't
up.
get in her way.
She
Yeah.
popped up and was asking us, like, picking our brains about how to even like get fourth graders involved too. With, I think one of her ideas was like greeting, like having the kids come out with her and do greetings at the bus area, like different kids. So then it's kind of similar to that story where they have like a day where they're responsible for being like a greeter, which is cute.
I remember my 9th grade son, I tell this story, going to the high school for the first time, and he came back home, and I go, how was it? What'd you learn today? What was going on? The senior told me he liked my shoes. I think he wore those shoes every single day the rest of the year, so I know it works for me personally.
Mhm.
Good.
Finance training review?
Yeah, so I did training earlier this week with Sarah and Melissa, our new board members. You guys want to share a few highlights from our training? What we covered and
It's starting to make sense.
I think that is the biggest takeaway.
Mhm.
You get that first board packet and you're like, what are all of these numbers? What do they mean?
Mhm.
So it's a little more clear.
Yeah. It just helps. It was just helpful to like hear kind of the breakdown of what the numbers are, what the different columns mean, and the more experience that we have looking at those things, the more we're in it, it'll just get clearer.
Mhm. I like too that you covered what our responsibility was as a board member to be looking for. And
Mhm.
Do you want to just share what that is, since we have our VOA person here, what I told you it kind of was?
Yeah, you had mentioned that when the financial or the supplemental report comes out, that there's a couple of things that we should be looking through, not necessarily scouring every single detailed item, but if there's something that is coming out there, like what is that? Go ahead and send you an email saying, no, can you explain what this is for? That was one of the things, and then.
If 1 month there was like a big jump in percentage of cost.
Right,
You know,
and-
asking more questions
Mhm.
about why that might be, if it
Mhm.
seems like an oddity.
That was something that I've learned through finance to like committee from
Mhm.
Jonas too, was to watch the trends
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
check, like kind of thinking about where we're at in the year. We always talk about that with Dustin, is where we're at in the year should match pretty well on what's being spent at that time. And sometimes it's different because we'll like bulk order something at one time instead of later, so you'll watch those percentages and learn.
Well, then those are the questions you ask. Okay, why,
Yep.
Yep.
Carly asked me, so she sent about 3 questions from the supplemental report this month to me, and we talked about them before the meeting. And one of them is, why have we spent 80-some% of the budget for whatever the line that St. Cloud Refrigeration's under?
Mhm.
And it's because we had one big purchase that was a one-time cost that we had right at the beginning of the year, and so, so obviously that line's gonna be way over, it doesn't mean we'll be way over at the end of the year. But and it's really about internal controls, right? It's about making sure that if anything's out of whack, it gets caught. And we have Nicole, who processes all the bills and is one person who's in it, then me, who approves everything and is adjusting. Then you've got people at creative planning who are going through and doing it, looking at and creating it. And then, but that's part of the board's role, is to provide oversight and just ask enough questions to make sure that if there's anything that seems out of whack, it's another way to catch it. And so, yeah. Good.
And he's great about answering questions.
Yeah.
And he'll go into as much detail as you need, so.
I'll go into more detail and you need to tell me to stop. Let's be honest, right? So, I mean,
Stop.
You reined it in the other day. You weren't overly detailed. It was like, just the right amount.
no. Every once in a while I get it right.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to tell
Oh,
me.
you
this. Don't be afraid to tell me, give me it's more than you need.
All right. So consent agenda. We have come to the roll call vote. portion here.
Didn't we already do this?
No, I had to read the blurb when we approved the agenda, in case
Oh.
somebody wanted to pull something out, but
That's right.
right now, I'm going to go ahead and motion to approve the July 16th, 2026 board meeting minutes, as well as the August personnel update.
Second.
Both MKs, there we go.
That's right.
Roll call
Exactly,
vote,
either way.
please. Jonas?
Oh, I do
Roll call vote.
do we have
Yeah.
a roll call on that?
Yes.
We do, yeah. Melissa Colkisel,
Yes.
Joe Valentine,
Yes.
Justin Cully.
Yes.
Carly Sherrill.
Yes.
Sarah Jocelyn.
Yes.
William Beck.
Yes.
Maddie Knutson.
Yes.
And that's it, right?
That's it, yep. Now, we are on to 9.1, board committee assignments. Jonas, are you able to pull up the grid that I emailed you?
Yeah, give me a second. First, I got to go to your,
I'll get that connection.
oh, sorry.
Thank you.
You need that out? Good luck.
So we've got 8 responses up here. I know Shelby's doing her own school's open house tonight. She did not get back on the survey, but
Well, now it's not popping up at all.
do you need my email, the email? Oh, that thing. You found it on your
Here,
screen though,
I will
right?
share
He
it,
has a
I will share this
picture.
document with everybody.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
And then,
You know, commitment wise, she would like to stay on that every 3 months.
That? No.
Shelby would like to stay on superintendent.
Okay, and Michelle, I'll share this document with you too.
Maddie, we are now on the board email.
Oh, good, good. I realized that the other day when I was talking to Sarah about the construction update, and then she's like, what? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, forward it to you.
Thank you for thinking of that.
It seems to me, let me just make a suggestion, that the development and superintendent support, I still think we need to come up with a better name for that group. But those are both ones that meet every 3 months, quarterly instead of monthly. So like Justin has requested to be on the development as his first choice, and superintendent support. Seems like if those are the two, we can do two. And same with William, those were his first 2 choices. Like, it seems to make sense that, you know, then you're getting 2 out of every 3 months you're meeting, just doing one less than somebody who's on one. That seems to make sense to go together.
Yeah.
How many people do we want on each of these committees? And then we gotta watch quorum. And remember, Shelby didn't respond, but with her school responsibilities, I know she wanted to stay on a
Well,
every
the
3 months.
most we can have is 4 to standard quorum. It seems to me like in terms of the amount of responsibilities you all have, it seems to me like if you're doing finance or governance, one's enough. If you want to have a second one, but with development or one to be every 3 months or superintendent's support, that's fine. And then, but it seems like that would come, you know, to 3 to 4 per group. Okay.
Makes sense to me.
At least 2. There's only 2 people that have finance in their top 2 choices.
It's a good time to
Maddie
bonus.
and Sarah.
Very exciting.
But,
Then you don't have to
but,
review those reports
but-
before the board meeting.
but the good thing about that though, I think it's okay to have just 2 for that one, when you
Yeah.
have, we got some other pretty strong experts in that with, I mean, Judith Darling on there, and then with Dustin doing it, I think that's probably sufficient for what we do.
And we just had 2 teachers this past year, and it was great, because we had Colleen. It was
Mhm.
just us 2.
So I think that's
2
fine.
teachers.
There's 3 people that have governance as their first choice. It seems like that would make sense. And Carly, if you want to be on that, the only other one you have is superintendent support, so you could do both if you wanted. I don't think, yeah. I mean, the question is, Maddie, you have superintendent support as your second. Finance is more, being the chair is more immediate commitment, but if you want to do that in addition, you could. Looks like we'd have 3 without you, so that'd be okay too.
I was more committed to finance and kind of just picked the other 3
Yeah.
after
And
that,
Joe,
because I
same
think that's
thing.
what I wanted to do.
You're
So
fine, that's what
here's the thing, and Joe, governance, you're kind of the chair of that, which takes more. So, I mean, if you want to be on that, would be fine, but we'll have 3 without you with between William and Justin is 2.
And then Shelby,
And-
did you say Shelby wanted to be on that?
Shelby superintendent.
Yeah, and then you, that's your first choice, so we have 4, so we're kind of full of that anyways. When you add that in, so it's probably better if Maddie and Joe don't do. You know what I mean? We'll
Yeah,
have
no,
4.
well, they're heavier now.
We'll have 4 without, William, Justin, Shelby, and Carly.
Yeah, I'm
But-
open to whatever. I'm fine if I'm saying on governance to just stick with that, but, I mean.
You
if
have
there was
extra
enough-
prep as.
Yeah, if there was enough interest with governance and to switch, I'd be open to that too, but yeah, I'm fine with just sticking with that and just having the one. I don't have to have, kind of like Maddie had to pick some, right?
I do think I would appreciate it if Melissa, Sarah, and actually the 3 people that had development as their second choice did it. Even though you have other ones, you're not, she's not a chair of another one.
Mhm.
And that one, we're not really gonna start heavy lift on that one for another year. But the more people we have and the little bit we do this year, to be aware, be able to spread messages and stuff like that, I think it would be good to have 3 on it. For the little bit we did. So that'd be great.
So 4 on it. Because William.
Melissa, Sarah, Ashley, and
Development, William?
Oh, William and Justin. Oh, wait, that's 5. We can't do that.
Right.
Oh, yeah, so Melissa and Sarah, you can fight over it.
Arm
Should we
wrestle.
rock, paper, scissors?
Arm wrestle.
You go right ahead.
That's fine, I don't mind.
There won't be much, those will be short meetings, there won't be much to do probably, the 3 we have,
So
but,
I'll do.
but we want to start building the
governance and-
foundation, yeah.
Governance and development, yep, that's totally fine.
Do you feel like you want to read off what you have, with all that? Or do you have?
Oh, I for sure missed things. Finance, Maddie and Sarah. Governance, Joe, Ashley, Melissa. Development, William, Justin, Melissa, +1. Maybe. Superintendent, me, Shelby. And there are 4 people who have development a second. Okay, but hang on.
I think Sarah wasn't gonna do it, but Ashley, he was gonna ask Ashley to do it.
For
Well,
development, is
yeah.
that what your
I
comments?
think it's important to have a community member. So William, like community members, are great. So William,
For which one?
for development. William, Ashley, Justin,
Melissa.
and Melissa, so we have one. That's 4.
Okay.
Right on.
And but for superintendent, me, Shelby,
Justin,
and Justin.
or Joe. But,
No, Joe has enough.
Because Joe's got enough of the governance and,
Okay.
yeah, and, wait, but William, we said William because it's development and,
Yeah, you can do both.
You can do both. Okay.
does that give us?
Just like Justin's doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, does that give us?
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
still 4?
so finance, Maddie, Sarah. Governance, Joe, Ashley, Melissa. Development, William, Justin, Melissa, asking Ashley. Superintendent, me, Shelby, Justin, William.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
And I'm willing to remain chair of superintendent committee. You're willing to remain chair of development?
Was that chair?
Were you chair?
I thought
Who's
it
chair?
was, he used to be on the
Oh,
board.
but you
Greg.
report to us.
Right, I
So Greg's
report to
saying,
Greg, yep.
Yeah, you're,
unless one of you wants to take over.
we'll say, let's make, I think the chair should be a board member, because that's the person responsible for
Okay.
communication and whatever.
I'm fine to do that, though.
Okay.
Thank you.
Joe, chair of governance, and Maddie as treasurer should be chair of finance. Is everybody good with that?
Sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I can email out that list, I'll CC you and Cassidy and the chairs,
Mhm.
and then the chairs can communicate out.
Mhm.
Okay. So as I had just read those lists, I will motion to approve it.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, number 10, future agenda items. Does anybody on the board or in our audience have any requests or suggestions for the agenda next month? Or something
I
further
do.
in the future that I should put on the radar?
I do.
Yes.
And mostly because this came up after I did the superintendent report, I would put it in there, but might be something we want feedback from the board on as a discussion item. We reviewed the communication study from 2 years ago as an administrative team that was done like that first summer when I was here talking to people, identified communication as an area of school-wide for improvement. So we had a study done to kind of identify, and admin team, we looked at it and what are we doing well, the recommendations they had, and what haven't we got to yet and all that. But one thing that was a recommendation that we had not gotten to yet was that following board meetings, sending community and staff an update of kind of key things from the board meetings. Right now, we're really disconnected from community as a board in that way in terms of them kind of knowing what's going on unless they seek out paying attention. And so the discussion item to tuck away is we'll try something this month, but to next month, look at what we send out as a board member think about, as a board think about, is this what should come out, from the meeting, or is there pieces or not, or is it too much detail or not enough, or like, what would make sense to look at? So we'll do a trial and error the first month and try something, then you guys can look at it, and then we can have that discussion later.
Is this something embedded in superintendent communication to the community that you'll be putting out, or something separate, or?
I think to be determined. I think it will come from, whether it comes from me or that would be a monthly thing. Yeah, maybe it would be coming from me, but I've asked Cassidy to put something together as some kind of summary suggestion for her and I to look at.
Okay.
We haven't fleshed it out yet, other than we want to do something and do it regularly as a way to connect, again, improve communication with the community.
Something we talked about previously that had been done several years ago, the monthly projects for the grades, to get something coming back to us. I guess they used to do a little video.
Oh, the core virtue presentation, not that.
Is it the service project?
Service learning project, there used to
Yes.
be a presentation. Colleen mentioned she was gonna be talking about that because she's gonna be leading like a PLC in
I
month.
love it.
And so I wonder if Colleen, that could be something to talk to her
So let's
about.
make the agenda item to send off.
Let's not limit it to service learning, let's limit it to student leadership.
That's what I'm saying. And let's have Colleen present next month. Potentially, if she's ready. If she's ready. If we need more time.
Or October.
I bet she'd love it.
She promised to come back.
Yeah.
Trying to keep her around for a while. Keep her off.
Thoughts from anybody else? Okay. Email me if you think of anything in the interim, please. Our next regular Board of Directors meeting will be Thursday, September 17th at 5:30, possibly in upper school?
Yeah.
Upper school building. Exact room to be determined. And I will make the motion to adjourn.
Second?
It has been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We beat you, Patrick. Oh, no, we didn't. Were you 45? So close.
It was his presentation that took the whole time, so.
I knew I had to keep my record alive.
There you go.
Okay.
This week.
If you could
Yes,
just read just a
absolutely.
couple
Your
things.
message.
Oh, thank you.
You'll see
I will look
the
on the
thing.
agreement.
It is up.
Wait, wait, yeah. I was working and Logan's daughter was the first person to listen, so then we all looked.
Motion and second. I never heard.
I didn't even see your text about a pen, I just happened to have that. So I'm glad.
The proper order is.
Good night, everyone.
Germany too. I've been trying to use.
A motion, second.
That I get. We're gonna see what's as long as you
Oh, your kids, I was wondering if
Yes, secretary, yes.
Well, you did a great job. First of all, you did, I.
But that's, you guys are, you probably stopped seeing things
I know.
there
You
because
do.
you
It really was
just come in and
nice.
gone.
There's a mess everywhere. Well, not everywhere,
Well,
but
no,
enough.
But a busy
Just,
house.
you know, kind of.
Are you coming in at all on Monday?
I
My
appreciate
plan is.
it.
Well, yeah, next
Next
week.
week,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wyatt can
He's
come
got-
over or.
You did a great job.
I'll be here tomorrow probably.
I don't know, because I really just wanted my room.
Reese is
A lot of
going to
people
meet with a
wanna
friend.
jump
Mr. X,
before
I want to
this
ask
and
you something.
Before the motion.
Teacher
but
workshop on
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
I'm gonna rub it through Wyatt.
We do have a lot of time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you speak in motion.
We'll have some time.
Is there any-
Did you volunteer to lead morning meeting on Tuesday? Cause I'm like,
You're right, we stopped before you.
I
They're
didn't,
friends with each other.
whatever they
Okay.
wanted to then, financial report.
We're seeing rain rods and.
there's a morning, well, we didn't come and bring our stuttering
Oh,
workshop,
that changed that.
but for the new staff, Megan's doing the one on Monday,
So
and
it'll
she
be
asked for someone to do it on
Okay,
Tuesday.
gotcha.
So I just asked Sarah if she was gonna do it,
Change
so
the
I'm like,
official agenda for the.
oh, group,
Okay, all right.
Volunteer
Because
because
I don't know. They're not
do it, we're not doing the lesson, yeah.
But I've been,
Yeah.
you know,
Tell me everything about her and I miss her.
Where was it?
I will tell you.
Usually they
She loves you and misses you.
You've been thinking?
Yes, it's dangerous.
Got to do it.
Okay.
There's
For
no
like
choice.
my little
So maybe at one
friends,
point,
I don't know if
that
there's
just got
something
left
we want
from
to
a
do
part of the meeting.
elementary wise.
If you can think of a reason why
We want to
No, I
do
can't.
this
agenda
things
needs work,
concrete,
let me know.
right?
For some reason,
And
someone
super
thought-
tangible, and we want to see
I-
it
it might
happening
be.
all the time.
I mean,
I-
I should know that, but I don't know that it is.
You're the person who would try to oversight, and you don't know that it is, so we.
So I am going to, I just wanted to ask you, so now I will just
Things
make
like
double
that,
sure
because then our
that
little
it's not
friends
required,
have
and that'll be in my
something they can
email to
attach
you.
to.
You'll get an email.
So
You'll circle back to us on that?
Yes.
Okay.
But I just wanted,
Absolutely.
like,
I thought it
oh,
was
there
so
for the new
cute.
legis, you know, the,
Or
all
you
those
could, like,
new laws.
gratitude
Like something
break
could have
and
slipped by
have
that I didn't.
Anything,
That I
Yes.
goose, great,
Yeah.
whatever, gumball.
I know.
You know, the humanity heart, maybe get
Oh,
like
I
a little
love
heart
it.
selfie or something like that.
Yes.
I think it'd be so
She
cute.
just, they don't else to do.
And then our
Gotcha.
little like virtue, you know, leaders, if we were gonna do
I
that
think that's
again,
it.
they like get
That's
to,
it.
it gets to be their buddy.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they,
Exactly
yeah,
right.
something
So
like
we
that.
have-
Okay,
excellent. First
I'll
meeting.
email you.
Okay, have a good night.
Hey,
We
you
also
too,
did that
thank you.
Cassidy, who usually
Yeah.
does things like
Right,
that too,
right,
so.
yeah. And then the struggle with the technology.
Yeah.
I had to laugh when you see your decrease in technology. I said, yeah, and now I know why. Because they don't know how to run it. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, that's me for sure.
Yeah, and you did a great job, as usual, with your report. Nice job. But great, you know, sticking to the point, and it was a good meeting.
Good.
Thank you.
Great, yep, I will see you guys next time.
We look forward to it. Hopefully next time, everything will be constructed
Yeah,
and you can see a finished
Thank
product.
you for coming.
thank you.
Good job.
Good job, good job. That was a good meeting.
So what I want to do tonight is I just want to go.
Yep.
How much time?
Yep.
Just to get.
I think it's just shortening every session. If you could shorten every session,
Potentially. Be like 2 minutes.
I think that's, yeah.
See, what I did, so you know, that I was working on, so I can see, is you're good, Melissa.
I was gonna ask or mention
I'm
something
gonna-
to you, but I can email it to
No,
you.
it's
too.
nothing.
Here's what I
No,
think.
I just wanted, I wasn't trying to blindside you with my comment about enrollment earlier.
Oh, no, not at all.
But we were all at 21, and then now some of us are back up to 22. And so that's why I asked for clarity
Because
about
we're
But I
that.
think you misstated one thing.
We're losing kindergartners so fast.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
withdrawing so fast that if we wait, like, we're confident we're not gonna be over,
Sure.
you're not gonna be over 21.
Well, I hope so. I
Yeah.
mean,
But I think you misspoke at one point, where you said, if they drop down to 20 in December, you're not gonna add one to them in December.
no,
not-
we just want to
not-
be at
not-
20,
not-
like
not-
steadily.
Not
Yeah.
after September
Right,
30th.
exactly.
Not after September 30th.
But you had stated, all I'm saying is, I think
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Unless overall we get to a place where
Yeah.
the numbers aren't gonna work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I mean, that's the plan.
Sure.
Is that after September 30th, we would not, anybody over 21. But no, we, and historically, we lose a lot of kindergarten in late August.
Sure.
So our concern.
Last year I lost 2 of them, like,
Oh, yeah.
after open house or
Right.
whatever.
So our concern, reason we're going to, we've been adding to try and get to like 1.5 per class or 1
Mhm.
and a third per class
Sure.
in kindergarten, is because we lose so many and not that many on the waiting list.
Got it.
presentation.
And
Immediately has to
the
motion a
longer you
second
get, a
before
lot of times
anybody
on the
can
waiting list,
tell
like,
them
well,
what
we're
type of
upset where
things.
we're at.
Sure.
Is that
So we're
right?
trying to thread the
Did he
needle.
do that?
Right.
I-
Is
we don't
that, is that what
think
I'm told
that
I'm
you'll
supposed to
anybody
do? Is that what I
to-
need to do?
Okay.
Oh, to ask, is there any
Okay.
discussion? Is there a
Discussion.
motion? Yeah, yeah, discussion
Yeah.
comes
Yeah, it's
before
just,
motion.
you know, there,
Yeah.
that's a hard number at that age.
Motion
I know.
second,
Yeah.
then discussion.
But,
I appreciate
Okay, I'll
the
ask him since
clarity
he just heard it.
and for explaining things.
yeah, but we're looking at the trends and saying, okay.
Yeah.
Kindergarten's
Right,
going
but I
to
always
keep
thought
losing a lot of
no
students.
For sure.
And
to do it
we don't want, we don't
No,
want to
yeah.
end up where
Yeah.
all of a sudden school starts and we're at 19 per
Right.
class, and now we have to take kids
Right.
all year.
After the year
So-
started or whatever.
So
You
it's
know,
just-
you've mentioned that it's, like we had talked, it's always more ideal to have your community set as early in the year as possible, and I know that's what we're trying to do.
Jonas,
so.
you look through it, I'm
I
gonna call
appreciate the
you later.
clarity.
I'm gonna call you later.
Thanks for letting me butt in, Kylie.
Oh, no, you're fine,
I
you're
just
fine.
I want to make sure, the one thing is that I will probably do the request, and I will call Megan. But I want you to look over it, and I'll call you later.
Because we're not doing a lot of things lower school is.
Correct.
We built in we do have a lot of time
You
already.
do,
At
but the
other-
lower school actually probably needs it even more because of how they did it. I've been hurting my stomach for a while, my
No,
gut reaction.
and in terms of getting teachers off, getting off to a good start, where teachers are feeling good about it, I think it's important. I do agree. I just think it's a little delicate in terms of.
Oh, absolutely,
Like, we want to
without
make
a
sure,
question.
we want to make sure to
Yeah.
honor the work people are doing, that we sit together.
This was
and-
stopped, right?
I wanted to know that it's my decision on that one because because they're gonna think it's.
This was stopped, right, Jonas?
Oh, I don't know if it was or not, actually.
Well, it says no signal, but
Let's